Get ready for Schuckapalooza!
The star of television and Broadway, John Schuck. Hello there, John. Good to see you.
The virile John Schuck.
John Schuck.
John Schuck. John Schuck. The powerful John Schuck. John Schuck.
The star of Holmes and Yo-Yo and Macmillan, John Schuck.
The charming John Schuck.
Oh, Schuck.
Starfleet regulations, that's outrageous!
Episode 270, Submission 348, The Munsters Today. The Munsters Today aired in first-run syndication from October 8th, 1988 to May 25th, 1991 for 3 seasons and a total of 73 episodes.
We went to sleep many years ago, and we woke up with a brand new show. We're the Munsters. We're the Munsters. Oh, yeah!
Well, guys, Schuckapalooza week continues. Mike is on assignment this week. Reed, this is actually like the 3rd episode we're taping in this block. Coincidentally, Chico's going to be on assignment in the next episode.
Yes, I'm going to be checking something out for Greg here. Let's just say it got 5 frosty cold Budweisers out of 6, and apparently it involves a callback to Captain Marvel and WandaVision. And I'm not going to say who, but John Krasinski is involved as well.
Wait, Jim Halpert?
Jim Halpert.
Oh. Well, whatever it is, I hope it's fantastic.
Oh, it's going to be a multiverse of fun. Oh, why don't you just tell them you're going to go see Doctor Strange, Chico?
I think at this point everyone knows that John Krasinski's Reed Richards in Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, the question is who are you going to get to play the other 3 members of the Fantastic Four?
Emily Blunt, obviously, and I don't know who you're going to get to play the Human Torch in the thing.
Hey,
so.
if you need Ben Grimm, I am available. Just saying. But yeah, John Schuck would have been a perfect Ben Grimm like 30 years ago. Because he's a big guy. He's like 6'70" or something.
6'70"?
What? He's a big guy.
Yeah, I know he's a big guy, but still.
I mean, on the Munsters Today alone, with all the prosthetic makeup he was wearing, that made him even bigger, for Christ's sakes.
Well, in 1988, the people at MCA decided, you know what, we're going to bring back the Munsters in first-run syndication.
Yep. And you know who they got to assist in that endeavor? Someone we surprisingly have talked very little about on this show. Arthur Anicherico.
Who that be?
The Arthur Company.
Oh.
Yeah, the guy with the star in his name for the vanity logo. Yeah, he actually did, before this show, he actually did like a block of 3 shows for TBS. Just so they could say, you know what? We can create premium content at low, low prices. And yet, if you saw Rocky Road or Safe at Home or Down to Earth, it didn't look like it was done on the cheap. Let's just say that. It did not look like it was done on the cheap. Then again, Rocky Road took place on the beach, and that definitely looked like a soundstage, just saying. But yeah, Arthur Anicherico, he teamed up with Lloyd Schwartz. Yes, that Lloyd Schwartz, the son of legendary producer, and a legendary producer in his own right, Sherwood Schwartz. And they basically decided to bring the Munsters into the here and now. And by the here and now, we of course mean the 80s. But they did it in the most creative way possible. It started out with, I want to say it was a TV movie, but here's the pilot, still the Munsters after all these years, which is first set in 1966, and it pretty much lays out the premise of the entire show. In 1966, where the original show takes place, Grandpa Munster invents a sleeping machine. Why would you need to invent a sleeping machine? I don't know, but that is the allure of Grandpa Munster. I want to say, after the events of Munster Go Home, you have a sleeping machine. Grandpa invented it. He sets the dial to 30 minutes, invites the entire family to try it out. It's basically a bunch of coffins attached to a timer. They all go to sleep. And after a malfunction, the dial goes from 30 minutes to forever.
What?
Yeah. Basically sets up the premise. Fast forward to 1988, 22 years into the future, and a land developer and his worker, they want to level the Munster house on 1313 Mockingbird Lane. By the way, that is a callback because we did that in pilot month 2021. They want to level the Munster house, but they discover the sleeping machine and revive the family. They think they've been asleep for 30 minutes. They've been asleep for 22 years. And now, not only do they have to adjust to life in the 1980s, they also have to find a way to pay back 22 years of bills and back taxes before they lose their house. Ultimately, they do that, so that sets up the series. Apparently, there was such a positive response that they greenlit it to series for syndication, which would have been a big thing back in the mid to late 80s. And that's basically the gist of it. That's how you get from the Munsters to the Munsters today. I was going to include a bit about how you would have to ignore the events of Munster Go Home, but then I remember Munster Go Home took place in the 1960s, and you could have easily said, you know what, the events of Still the Munsters after all these years, that's the name of the pilot, they took place after Munster Go Home. So there you go. And it's very crazy. But if you want to enjoy this series, there was a second TV movie made called The Munsters' Revenge. You have to ignore the events of The Munsters' Revenge in order to enjoy this series. Just saying.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
But before we get into the episodes, let's talk about the Munsters. As you know, the original Munsters were played by Fred Gwynne and Yvonne DiCarlo, with Pat Priest playing Marilyn, and Butch Patrick, which we talked about in Lidsville way back when.
All the way back in episode 7.
They played the family proper. And, of course, Al Lewis as Grandpa. Our new Munsters are, as Herman Munster, you have John Schuck. As Lily Munster, his wife, we have Lee Merriweather.
That's right. Lee Merriweather.
The Lee Merriweather.
That's right. One of the 3 Catwomen.
Arrgh.
You know, my favorite part in Batman the movie is the fact that Bruce Wayne has no idea that Miss Kitka, who is Catwoman, is in fact Catwoman. He doesn't figure out that someone named Miss Kitka, whose name is spelled K-I-T, which is kind of Kit Kat, is in fact the Catwoman.
No clue.
No clue.
Absolutely no clue.
And then when he figures it out at the end, you hear, "Oh, Marie!" It's like so heartbreaking. Bruce is like, "Oh."
That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy.
I know.
All right. Playing their son, Edward Wolfgang Eddie Munster. Butch Patrick obviously would have aged out in the role, obviously.
Duh.
So they got Jason Marsden. And of course, you would remember Jason Marsden from the last 2 seasons of Step by Step.
Wasn't he like 3 or 4 seasons of Step by Step?
Yeah, but I think he was like the last.
He was promoted to regular.
As a regular, yeah.
Okay, so last 2 seasons he was promoted to regular. That makes sense. So, yeah. But also, we'll be talking about him later this year in Erie, Indiana.
Yep.
And he's going on to be a good voice actor, too.
Yes, he has. Time for this episode's fun fact of the day. Many people think that Jason Marsden and James Marsden are brothers. They are not.
No.
In fact, a lot of people confuse them for being brothers, but they are very good friends. And their wives have been friends since they were 6. So,
What? Are you kidding me?
mm-hmm.
Their wives are friends?
Yep. And his best man at his wedding was Will Friedle.
Oh, yes.
Yes, he of Thundercats and Boy Meets World.
Yeah. He was Corey's brother on Boy Meets World, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But, hold on a second. One day we'll be talking about the Boy Meets World episode with Will's character when he went on Singled Out.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that episode?
I do remember that episode.
Where Chris Hardwick went after him over the Naughty Girls, which now in 2022 kind of makes sense as to why he would pretty much go after him for not picking the Naughty Girls.
Just remember, Chris Hardwick was exonerated.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything.
Not really. As Grandpa Vladimir Dracula, we have Howard Morton. And, of course, he would be Carl Kaniski's major domo in Gimme a Break.
Give me a break, I sure deserve it. Trying to take it to the top.
Yep. And playing the role of Marilyn Munster, at least in this episode, would be Mary Ellen Dunbar.
Who is that?
I'm trying to figure that one out myself. Mary Ellen Dunbar, apparently known more as a voice actor nowadays, because she was in episodes of Rugrats, Cow and Chicken, Real Monsters, and Duckman. But before that, she was that woman from That Thing. She played Brittany on an episode of Charles in Charge, Natasha on an episode of Throb, the pilot episode of Throb, a bride in an episode of Perfect Strangers, and something called She-Wolf of London, where she played Ellen Kravitz.
Oh, She-Wolf of London. That was an MCA TV produced joint. That was also in first run syndication. It has Kate Hodge and Neil Dixon. How dare you slander the great Kate Hodge on this podcast?
You know who else was in She-Wolf of London?
Who?
Diane Udale.
Who's Diane Udale?
She was one of the British American gladiators. And she went on to host the British version of Finders Keepers.
Oh, okay. All right. And then midway through the show, it changed its format and title to Love and Curses. And the reason why is because they couldn't afford to shoot in London anymore.
Is this going to be one of those situations where they shoot the Magic Kingdom, the Cinderella's castle in the Magic Kingdom, and then super imp on it, London?
No, not like Thunder in Paradise.
I was about to say, call back to Thunder in Paradise.
Oh, yeah, where John O'Hurley's in a castle in London. Bull crap! That is clearly Cinderella's castle in the Magic Kingdom.
But of course, that was the pilot. They ordered it to series, and they had to replace Marilyn with the person who would go on to play Marilyn for the rest of the series, and that would be Hilary Van Dyke, who played Joan of Arc in an episode of Life Goes On, and Joanna in an episode of Future Entry, What a Dummy. Greg, I checked, it's already on the list.
Good. But yeah, I remember What a Dummy. That was terrible.
That was it. Hey, it's syndication. What do you want? Huh?
It had the one kid from Harry and the Hendersons in it. That was about it.
But yeah, this was actually the last thing she ever did on IMDb. Right? Not necessarily. She hosted 3 years of something called the Hollywood Beat, which I'm guessing is
some E.T. ripoff, probably. I don't know.
I don't know either. So those are the principles. We have a lot of episodes to go over, so we're not going to waste any time here. So, let me stretch myself out here. Okay. We start with episode 1, Vampire Pie. Good night, everybody. Herman decides to become a Munster chef in order to win a cooking contest, but 2 problems arise. Marilyn is dating one of the judge's sons, and Grandpa discovers that one of Herman's ingredients causes regular folks to go quacky.
Uh-oh.
Playing one of the judges, D.D. Nelson, is Mary Carteret, a.k.a. Jack Tripper's Beyonce?
Well, she does become his wife in the last episode of Three's Company, and then subsequently on the spin-off Three's a Crowd.
And we'll talk more about that when we talk about Three's a Crowd, obviously.
Yeah, we're going to have it scheduled for later on at the end of the year. But
yeah, we have it on our list, the list, as it were.
And by the way, Mary Carteret now runs an antique shop in her home state of Connecticut.
Hey, you can make the drive up to Connecticut.
Well, I'd have to take the Port Jefferson ferry to Connecticut. But hey, if you're ever in that antique shop she runs, tell them it was a thing on TV sent you.
I can picture you going to that antique shop, looking at the owner and saying, "Didn't you used to quack after eating a pie on that episode of the Munsters today?"
She'd look at me like I'm some sort of moron. Like, how the hell would you remember that? And I'd be like, "Ma'am, don't ask."
Okay, episode 2, A Little Russian Dressing. Grandpa wins 3 wishes in the Transylvania sweepstakes. Yeah. I don't know what the wishes are. I don't want to know what the wishes are. Oh, by the way, I should mention, while Arthur Anicherico and Lloyd Schwartz produced the show, it was actually Alan Burns, yes, that Alan Burns, and Chris Hayward who brought the show to series in the 80s.
Okay.
Just so we're clear on that.
All right.
Episode 3, Flyweight Champion of the World. Grandpa casts a spell to make the bullied Eddie stronger. I will always remember this episode as the episode where Lily has to nurse Eddie, or at least his eye, with a slab of raw beef. I wish I was kidding, I'm not. And the name of the bully, I can't believe I'm about to say this. The name of the bully is Headlock Henderson.
Headlock Henderson.
Yeah. And the name of the guy who played Headlock Henderson is Daniel Reardon. And the thing of it is, he is now known as a preeminent video game voice actor. He was in Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, Mass Effect Legendary Edition, Days Gone, Spider-Man. Yes, that Spider-Man, the PlayStation Spider-Man.
Okay, not the video game based on the Sam Raimi movie.
Yeah. The Elder Scrolls Online Morrowind, Halo Wars 2, and Mass Effect Andromeda. He was also one of the locals on a 2019 episode of This Is Us.
Oh, we can't get enough of This Is Us on this podcast.
I'm going to miss This Is Us.
Oh, I am too. Oh, well, it's going to be sad not to have Mandy Moore on television, but you know what?
Oh, she'll be on television again soon.
Oh, yeah, she's going to be out on tour, I see, on the Instagram, so good for Mandy. She's getting
I heart
done.
Mandy Moore. Always have.
Everyone loves Mandy Moore.
Episode 5, Designing Munsters. Lily leaves the household chores to Herman when she lands a job as a fashion designer. And we have actually a couple of callbacks to previous Arthur Company productions. Playing the role of Susan is Desiree Bichetti, who was on Rocky Road. She was one of the stars of that show.
Oh.
And John Fujioka played Mr. Hagashiwara, sadly no longer with us, but he was actually in a lot of productions. He was in the China Cruise episodes of The Love Boat.
The Love Boat.
Episode 6, Farewell, Grandpa. Immigration officials arrive for Grandpa, who hasn't filed for citizenship. One of those, oh my god, these names. There are a couple of big names on this episode. Playing the role of Don Steinberg, I'm guessing one of the agents, is Gregory Sierra.
Yes.
Chano from Barney Miller.
That's right. And also, wasn't he one of the wands in Soap?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because if Mike was here, he'd be like, oh yeah, he was one of the wands, the leader of the wands. I'm like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and he was also in Sanford and Son as Fred's neighbor. So
Mike here from Parts Unknown on assignment. Gregory Sierra did not play one of the wands. He was the leader of the wands, you're right, but he was known as El Puerco, the pig.
And, oh gosh, we're going to talk about this guy later this year. Playing the role of William Wickham is Ron Coolman, a.k.a. Philip Covington III on the Brady Brides.
Oh, yes. Hey, we got someone else who's from the Brady Brides who's going to show up later on. But yeah, isn't he the one who married Jan?
He is the one who married Jan.
Yeah, he's the, what was his character? Wasn't he like a professor?
He was a professor at a junior college.
Oh, okay.
Yes, we'll talk more about this when we talk about the Brady Brides later this year.
Oh, I'm looking forward to the Brady Brides.
Episode 7, Corporate Munsters. Herman turns into a businessman when he becomes a company's majority stockholder. Not important how. Interesting thing, this episode was actually directed by, are you ready for this?
Okay, who directed this?
Bonnie Franklin.
Wait. One Day at a Time, Bonnie Franklin?
One Day at a Time, Bonnie Franklin.
That Bonnie Franklin?
That Bonnie Franklin directed this episode. And this episode has, as Douglas Carswell, CEO, Charlie Brill, Yes, that Charlie Brill.
Wow.
Ruth Buzzy also plays an undetermined role, but if you don't know who Ruth Buzzy is,
Just
what
go away. Go away. Just no.
Episode 8, Herman the Astronaut. Herman is chosen to participate in a government project that would take him to Venus.
Why would that be possible to land on Venus? Isn't it just gas on Venus?
I want to say it is. If we're wrong on that, you can just let us know. But I want to say that's just like a gas giant there. Okay, playing himself is astronaut Gordon Cooper, one of the Mercury astronauts, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Gordo Cooper, yeah. He was portrayed by Dennis Quaid in The Right Stuff, which, oh, by the way, since I had mentioned The Right Stuff, we're taping this right after Fred Ward passed away, who played Virgil Gus Grissom in The Right Stuff. R.I.P. Fred, we miss you.
Virgil I. Grissom. Or...
Gus.
What was that?
Gus. Nobody calls me by that other name.
Gus. An astronaut named Gus? What's your middle name?
Ivan.
Ivan. Well, maybe Gus isn't so bad. Might be something there.
And playing the role of Dr. Sandra Brown is Nancy Dussault. We talked about her actually in reference to the morning program when Bob Saget, we miss you, Bob, was also on that show. When we talked about How I Met Your Mother's Super Bowl episode.
Yeah, it's true, because, that was right before Bob did Full House.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was one of the many, many experiments CBS did with their morning slot right after they canceled Captain Kangaroo.
Yep. Episode 9, Rock Fever. Marilyn invites her favorite rock group to the house, a game that's turned into lizards by Grandpa's latest invention.
Oh, no, Grandpa. What are you doing? Turning people into lizards.
He can't stop inventing things, bruh.
Just stop inventing things, Grandpa. It's just not working.
And two of those famous rockers were played by David Coburn and Alan Fawcett. David Coburn is known more or less as the voice of Captain Planet.
Wait, Captain Planet?
Pan Global Oil keeps dumping sludge into the Atlantic Ocean.
That burns my ass.
Forget it, Ted. There's nothing you can do.
Maybe I can't, but Captain Planet can. Captain Planet. Captain Planet! Captain Planet! Captain Planet!
Where are we gonna dump our sludge next?
Well, the Grand Canyon could hold a lot of sludge.
Oh, it sure could.
Yeah, let's sludge the hell out of the Grand Canyon.
Yeah. Is that Ted Turner?
I think it is. What the hell's he doing?
I don't know. He's on one of those zip lines.
Oh, yeah. Is that what they're called? Zip lines?
Yeah, zip lines.
Yeah, I always thought...
Captain Planet!
You got glass in my eye!
And my foot in your balls! Captain Planet!
What do you want, Mr. Turner?
Just sign this pledge not to dump any more sludge and I'll let you go!
Okay.
This appears to be in order. Captain Planet! Protect the environment or I'll kill you! Captain Planet!
Remember, kids, recycle.
Or else Ted Turner's gonna kick you in the nuts.
True fact. And Alan Fawcett, of course, the host of Putting on the Hips, a.k.a. the original lip sync battle.
Yeah, but that one didn't have Tom Holland in drag.
No, that was classic. Episode 10, Professor Grandpa. Grandpa's bizarre scientific theories don't go over well with this staid chemistry professor. Jack Fletcher said professor.
Okay.
Yeah. And this isn't his first flirtation with the dark arts, let's say, because he did play Mr. Bigelow in the 1988 movie Elvira, Mistress of the Dark.
Ooh.
Episode 11. Say ah. Herman's all set to undergo surgery, but the family sets out to cancel the doctor's plans. What? They're just going to find out that he's made of other people. And it stars David Byrd, who sadly is no longer with us. He played the judge in Tango and Cash. So.
Oh, Tango and Cash.
He was also the pharmacist on the finale episode of Seinfeld.
Oh, yeah, we talked about the finale when we talked about the grudge match.
Mm-hmm.
Because of John Panette was in the grudge match, and he was in the Seinfeld finale as the guy who got mugged in the Seinfeld finale, leading to Jerry and the gang being in their trial and such.
Episode 12, A Hero Ain't Nothing But a Cereal. An advertising executive recruits Herman to endorse a cereal product.
Well, if it's not Frankenberry, then get the F out.
Yeah. David Horowitz guest stars as himself.
Wow.
Because, duh. Episode 13, Computer Mating. Grandpa turns to a video dating service with hopes of finding the perfect woman. Because of course he does.
And I'm guessing the perfect woman is Nanette Fabre?
As Dottie, yes. And let's be honest, is Nanette Fabre not the perfect woman? You're going to sit here and tell me that Nanette Fabre is not the perfect woman?
Yeah, I mean, come on.
It's Nanette freaking Fabre, for crying out loud.
Episode 14. Mick Munster.
Oh, jeez. The Munsters turn their house into a bed and breakfast inn. Oh, gosh. And from It's Scary Shandling Show, you have Paul Wilson as one of the guests. And another appearance by Desiree Bichetti from earlier this season. But perhaps the biggest name on this episode, playing the role of Barney Morley, Donnie Most.
Donnie Most. Ralph Malph from Happy Days.
Yep. Of course, to a certain generation of kids, he will always be one of the voices on Dungeons and Dragons, the animated series.
Oh, I didn't know he was on the Dungeons and Dragons animated series.
Oh, yeah.
I never watched Dungeons and Dragons the animated series.
I'm sorry, what?
I was never into Dungeons and Dragons.
Mark Evanier, if you're listening, I want to apologize for Greg here. He clearly has taken leave of his senses.
I never got into the board game. I never got into the NES game, so...
Yeah, but everybody gets into the animated series.
Okay, I'll watch the animated
series. You need to watch the animated series.
Okay, I'll watch it.
Okay.
It doesn't have Fabio in it like in Wizards and Warriors 2 Iron Sword, does it?
No, it does not.
That's a shame.
That's a shame.
I wanted to see a scene in the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon with Fabio was in it where he gets hit in the face by a goose.
It was that one time, and it was the first ride of Apollo's Chariot. Leave him alone.
But it was funny.
I know it was. Oh, yeah, it was hella funny. What am I talking about? Episode 15. One flew over the Munsters' nest. That's flu as in short for influenza.
Oh.
Marilyn runs away from home when she feels unloved.
Oh.
And playing the role of Mrs. Cousins. It seems like every episode in the first season has like this big name. Playing the role of Mrs. Cousins is Dr. Joyce Brothers.
Oh, Dr. Joyce Brothers.
one of the first people on television in the television age to be known for being known.
Yeah, that's right, because as we all know, she made her name on the $64,000 question and got all her money in boxing and won it legitimately.
Yep. Ain't no cheaters up in here. No, sir. Episode 16, The Green-Eyed Munster. Lily enters the Mrs. Transylvania contest, a move that sparks objection from Herman.
Well, I don't blame Herman. Why would Lily want to enter a Miss Transylvania contest?
We'll let you think about that for a second. We have a name in this episode. Playing the role of Louis Schechter is Robert Clary, who you would probably remember from Hogan's Heroes. Corporal Louis LeBeau.
Okay.
Yes.
Louis LeBeau. Okay.
Yep. And in the 80s and 90s, he would spend some time on your stories. Namely, Days of Our Lives as Robert LeClaire and The Bold and the Beautiful as Pierre Jourdain.
Ooh. Episode 17, The Not-So-Great Escape. Grandpa wants to enter the Houdini Open Classic, but Lily and Herman aren't thrilled with the idea.
Yeah, because, let's be honest, most of Grandpa's inventions, they don't work that well.
They all suck! Someone needs to tell Grandpa, your ideas suck.
And if you needed any evidence, me pointing frantically at the sleeping machine.
If Grandpa was on Shark Tank, like Mark Cuban and everybody on the panel would just say, this is stupid.
Like, what is this? What is this? This is nothing. And Robert Herjavec would just look at him and say, pass. Okay, playing the role of Mother Nature, Kay Ballard.
Oh, Kay Ballard.
I love Kay Ballard.
Oh, Kay Ballard, a legend. And good friends with Paul Lynde.
Mm-hmm. Episode 18, Two Left Feet.
Get it? Because it's a joke on my left foot.
Yep. Marilyn's dream date may be canceled when the boy's parents meet the Munsters.
Uh-oh.
Said boy is played by Scott Reeves, who is not known for much except for a few roles in Your Stories, most notably The Young and the Restless. But he played Sean Robertson in Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan.
Oh, yes, Jason Takes Manhattan. I did not know that Manhattan looked a lot like Toronto.
No, wasn't this taped in Los Angeles?
No, I think it was taped in Canada.
Well,
Friday the 13th, Part 8, yeah.
Oh, Friday the 13th. I thought we were talking about the Munsters still. My mistake.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. I'm playing Dustin's parents, Greg Malavy and Mary Carteret. So Mary Carteret makes a
return.
So a bit of continuity here. Because remember, Marilyn was seeing Dustin in the first episode.
Yes.
I love the continuity nods so far.
All right. Episode 19. Lights, Camera, Munsters.
Grandpa and Lily use Marilyn's home movie to help Eddie with his spelling. Now, playing the role... Now, we have a couple of names on this episode. Playing Miss Foster, Eddie's teacher, Vernie Watson, a.k.a. Vi from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Will Smith's mama.
Oh, okay.
And playing his classmate Howie Buchanan is Richard Stephen Horvitz, who is known less for his role on Safe at Home, another Arthur Company joint, and more for being the original voice of Alpha 5 on Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Aye.
I was waiting all show for that.
Yeah, well. All right. Episode 20, Neighborly Munsters. Hey, Greg Bolavy and Mary Carteret are back, and they're discovering the oddities of the Munster family.
Okay, now here's where it sort of kind of goes off the rails, because in the perfect world, that episode would have aired before the first episode.
Yeah, this is probably, they just taped them and they just aired them out of order.
Yeah. So we meet the Nelsons, presumably for the first time. Episode 21, The Munster Hoopsters. Herman recruits his cousin to teach Eddie the finer points of basketball. Because despite his height, Herman Munster has no game.
Well, come on, Herman's tall. How can Herman have no game?
He's also very clumsy.
That is true. But I mean, I don't know many tall basketball players who can't play good.
Apparently has no hops. Playing that role is Peter Isaacson, who's known for Keys to Tulsa, Surf 2, and 4 episodes of Valerie / the Hogan Family.
Guys, Peter Isaacson was Seaman Pruitt on CPO Sharky. I'm absolutely amazed by you two. Also, he made the rounds on a lot of games in the 70s. Match Game, $20,000 Pyramid, Hollywood Squares, Crosswits, everything like in the late 70s, it seems.
But yes, Herman Munster has no game.
No game.
Episode 22, Don't Cry Wolfman. After pulling off a bank heist, 2 thieves choose the Munsters' home to hide the money.
Why would you choose the Munsters' home to hide your money?
Because reasons.
It is the most scary-looking house. They figure, okay, we'll put our money here. Nobody's clearly going to come into the house.
And it sticks out like a sore thumb, too, so...
Yeah, but that's not a good idea.
You didn't think this through, did you?
You don't have a safe house where you can put your money?
You gotta put the money in somewhere inconspicuous. Not in something that looks like the house that Ty forgot. Come on, am I the only person who thinks of these things? Playing the role of the bank robbers, Bert and Fingers Spearman, we have Kip King, who is Kip King? He's known as he was a technician of the original movie version of Westworld.
Oh, okay.
I believe we made a reference to technicians in a previous episode.
Yeah, I just don't remember which.
Neither do I. And play the role of Finger Spearman, Jerry Hauser.
That's right. Jerry Hauser, who played Marcia's husband in the Brady Brides.
We have both Brady husbands in season 1 of The Munsters today.
That's right.
And also Richard Stephen Horvitz returns as Howie. Because Howie and Eddie, they tight.
Yeah.
Hey, just remember, one of you is going to be Stacy Keenan's boyfriend on Step by Step. The other is going to be the voice of a robot. Episode 23, The Howling. When Eddie's howling voice keeps him out of the Glee Club, Grandpa devises a wacky situation. John Fujioka returns as Mr. Higashigawa. And a couple of unknowns as his classmates. So we're not going to go over that much.
Yeah.
Episode 24, this is the season finale. Oh, the Munster. Herman becomes irresistible when he's accidentally sprayed with Grandpa's love potion. Just wait till you see who's playing the person who can't resist Herman.
Oh, who can't resist John Schuck as Herman Munster? Who is it?
Playing the role of Ms. Jessica Boughton, Lois Nettleton.
Oh my god!
This just gets better and better.
Oh, Lois Nettleton falling for John Schuck.
Hey, maybe you should take it back to your lingerie shop. Tell them what's up, you know?
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Alright, so let's get it ready for season 2.
Okay, season 2. We begin with episode 1 of season 2, 300 something.
Gee, I wonder what it's in reference to.
Obviously, it's in reference to 300 some 20 years later. Lily wants to spend a romantic weekend with Herman. Bonnie Franklin directs this one. Of course she does.
And as a guest star, Zsa Zsa Gabor.
And if you don't know who she is, I can't help you.
Oh, yeah.
I literally can't help you.
Oh, once again. That happens every frickin' time she goes shopping. She said in Naked Gun 2.5.
Mm-hmm. Episode 2. There's no place like home. The Munsters moved into a luxurious apartment after a flood damages their home. So, if you flood the house, where's Spot gonna live? Spot is the pet dragon, you see.
Yes.
And as an insurance adjuster, you have Alan Blumenfeld, who, like Greg, is from Long Island, but unlike Greg, has played a role in How to Be a Hitman.
I know that there was a show about how to be Bret Hart.
There was How to Be a Pre-Emoji with Peter Tamarkin.
Oh, okay.
So, and he was actually on the recently canceled Space Force as Schuckler. Episode 3. Raging Hormones. Eddie changes his image, much to his parents' disapproval. Because, he's getting on in that age. He's like a 13-year-old 30-something. Because remember, he was asleep for 22 years. Playing the role of Claudia is Laura Mooney, who is known less for being Kelly Kapowski's sister on Saved by the Bell, and more for being Katie Kaboom on Animaniacs.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Didn't Kelly's sister fall for Zach?
Yes. She made a horrendous error in judgment.
Yes, she did. And we never saw her again after that because, according to Dash, she probably effing killed herself.
Episode 4. Murder in Munsterland. New neighbors take the Munsters murder mystery game seriously. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. The neighbors are played by Michael Bell and Leslie Easterbrook. Michael Bell is, of course, a known voice actor. Leslie Easterbrook is...
From Police Academy.
Callahan.
Yeah, Callahan from Police Academy. Yeah. And Police Academy. Oh, legendary.
We need to have a deep watch of all of the Police Academies.
Well, just specifically Police Academy 4, because Police Academy 4 is great.
That was the best one, if you ask me.
That was the best one.
That was the apex of the form.
That was the apex of the series, was Citizens on Patrol.
Yep. I will fight me on this. Fight me.
I will not disagree. It even has David Spade in it. A young David Spade in Police Academy 4. And the Yama Yama scene. Come on.
Yama, 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 yama.
All right, let's go ahead. Episode
5. The Trial.
The Trial.
Oh, jeez. Herman ends up in court after saving a choking man's life.
Why is Herman on trial for saving a man's life?
If you ask me, he kind of got into it. It's like Herman Munster seems to be the kind of person who, gets into it. Playing the role of Sam Hawkins, oh man, this guy is legendary. Shelley Berman. And playing the role of Sonny Scales is Steve Susskind, who I want to say is that guy. Nope, he plays the floor manager in Monsters, Inc. So
okay, the floor manager at Monsters, Inc. Okay,
but was Mr. Hansen in 2 episodes of Get Real with Anne Hathaway. I believe that's a future entry. And
Yeah,
I
we
believe
already
that is
have,
also...
long
Yep.
since on the list.
Okay. Episode 6. It's a Wonderful Afterlife. Herman feels like a failure after meeting his prosperous former assistant. That would be Gordon Fenway, played by John Sanderford, who, if I'm not mistaken, plays Zach Morris's daddy.
Oh, obviously not Robert Pine in Good Morning Miss Bliss, but...
Yeah. But he played his dad in Wedding in Las Vegas.
Okay, Wedding in Las Vegas.
And Drinking and Driving, and Rent a Pop.
Oh yeah, the drinking and driving episode of Saved by the Bell. What an amazing episode that was. Okay.
Also was in an episode of Monk. I only bring this up because I just learned something about Greg. I just learned something earth-shattering about Greg.
Okay, guys. Okay. Oh.
Okay, this is what I learned about Greg.
Do you
he
want
likes wings.
Yes, and I've never shared this in any of the episodes that I love wings. But you know what? I gotta come out and say it. I love wings. Are you amazed that I love wings?
I am dumbfounded.
Can you believe that this is the first time you've ever heard this story that I love wings?
I am shocked. So very shocked. Episode 7. The Eyes Have It. Eddie seeks revenge on a school bully who got him in trouble. And that would be Casey Ellison, who played Brad Penman.
Penman.
Although I'm looking at him and I'm thinking to myself, this is the same guy who played Alan Anderson on Punky Brewster, and he's a bully?
Alan from Punky Brewster?
Alan from Punky Brewster?
How is Alan from Punky Brewster a bully?
I don't know.
No, Alan from Punky Brewster does not look like someone who is threatening. I don't know what you're thinking, Eddie Munster.
I don't know, man. Oh, fun fact, Casey Ellison, nowadays he's working with the Star Wars universe in The Mandalorian and the soon-to-premiere Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh, so he's working for Lucasfilm now.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Alan from Punky Brewster now working for Lucasfilm. That's great. What does he do for Lucasfilm?
He's a lighting tech.
Oh, well, that's great.
Next up, it's a sad, sad world. The clan invites Herman's gloomy friend to dinner. The gloomy friend is played by Dan Florek, of Law & Order fame, of course.
All right.
Episode 9, The Melting Pot.
Oh, no, why, Grandpa? What are you doing?
No, okay, Grandpa strikes a demonic deal to get his wishes granted.
Why, Grandpa? Why? Why would you do this?
And of course, one of the people in this episode is Lewis, played by Teddy Wilson, who we talked about in a previous installment into the Sanford verse, because he was in Sanford Arms.
Okay.
Episode 10, Once in a Blue Moon. Grandpa's estranged wife visits.
Uh-oh.
That's right. Lily's mother, played by Joe DeWinter.
I can see why Grandpa has an estranged wife, because I bet you she couldn't deal with any of Grandpa's shit.
Probably.
With his stupid-ass inventions.
Yep. Joe DeWinter plays Katya Dracula. She's that woman from that thing. Episode 11, Drac the Ripper. Herman thinks Grandpa's behind a series of Ripper murders.
Well, thank you, Herman. Thank you.
I mean, it wouldn't shock me if he was. I mean, come on, this is Grandpa we're talking about.
Just look at Grandpa.
Just look at him. Surprised he hasn't murdered anyone in the course of this series. I'm surprised he hasn't murdered anyone in the course of the 60s series that we know of. But then again, think about Grandpa in 1313, not 1313 Mockingbird, in Just Mockingbird Lane reminded, oh yeah, he's a mad inventor and he likes to kill people. That totally rates now. Episode 12, Gateman and Son. Herman's boss orders the Munsters to take in his son. Gateman is played by Andrew Block. No idea who he is. His son is played by Muzi Dreyer, who would be best known as that guy who was not in the band on Kids Incorporated. Episode 13, Reunion. The Munsters mansion is built with odd characters when the family holds a reunion. Oh, God. So Peter Schuck, I want to say he is related to John Schuck somehow.
Okay.
He is the look-alike brother of John Schuck.
Oh, my God!
But, truth be told, John is the older of the two.
Yes. Oh, he was on 2 episodes of Hill Street Blues as Don Chesler. And, he was on an episode of L.A. Law in 1990. So you know what that means.
He was there at the beginning.
No, L.A. Law
There I go, confusing Law and Order and L.A. Law again. I know what that means. Play the clip.
I really don't want to talk about it.
Oh my God!
But you want to talk about legendary. Playing the role of Igor. Foster Brooks. Yeah. Big legend. Big time.
What's he known for?
He was in Mork and Mindy as Miles Sternhagen. He was in Cannonball Run 2 as one of the fishermen.
Cannonball Run 2.
He actually played an admiral in the original Munsters.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I mean, if you're not like big on the 70s, 80s panel shows, you probably don't know who Foster Brooks is, because he was like on so many episodes of Match Game, Hollywood Squares. He was a guest on The Tonight Show, Break the Bank, Rhyme and Reason, The Real Tom Kennedy Show, whatever that is. And he actually played a homeless person on a 1986 episode of Small Wonder.
Oh, that's terrific. Okay.
Foster Brooks's big shtick was he was a drunk. And really on like Match Game and some of the shows you talked about earlier, he came across as drunk even though he didn't drink during his heyday.
If Mike was here, he'd probably look at you funny for not knowing who Foster Brooks was.
The man's not wrong.
Well, that's his loss. Episode 14, Pants on Fire. Herman, Marilyn, and Eddie make up excuses to keep from doing household chores.
Oh, boy. Playing the role of Mr. Graves in this episode is Graham Jarvis, who has played Charles Jackson in 16 episodes of Seventh Heaven.
Oh, Seventh Heaven.
We don't talk about Stephen Collins. No, no, no.
But Catherine Hicks and Jessica Biel, that's fine.
Indeed. Episode 15, Munstergeist. One of Grandpa's devices, shocker, transports Eddie into a TV show.
Oh, there's Grandpa with his crappy devices. And now he's put Eddie into a television show.
That's not meta. That's not meta at all. Episode 16, Never Say Die. Grandpa's best pal, Leonard the Skeleton, is attacked by a group of poodles.
What? Oh my God. That's horrible.
That's terrible.
That's terrible.
Playing a role in this episode is Marty Ingalls, a.k.a. the voice of Pac-Man.
Oh, Pac-Man.
Yep, and also he's Fenster in I'm Dickens, He's Fenster.
All right. Episode 17, It's a Baby. Herman and Lily recall the day Eddie was born.
Aww. Episode 18, Tell him Herman sent you. Herman opens his own mortuary after losing his job as a gravedigger.
How does Herman lose a job as a gravedigger?
How do you lose your job as a gravedigger?
You'd think that would be an easy job for Herman, but nope.
Sorry. Playing the role of his boss, Mr. Goodberry, is... I just got that. Mr. Goodberry. Because he's a gravedigger, you see. Anyway, playing the role of Mr. Goodberry, Stanley Ralph Ross, who is was a prolific voice actor, and was also in an episode of Batman as Barney Ballpoint Baxter. Episode 19, Thicker Than Water. Grandpa is outraged when a book slams the vampire code. Playing another vampire, Count Stripkin, is Bill Daly.
And Bill Daly we've talked about a lot on this podcast.
Oh, yeah. Talk about Bob Newhart's show. Talk about I Dream of Genie. Talk about Flying High. Yeah, he was in that.
But also a frequent panelist on many game shows, including the Match Game Hollywood Squares Hour.
Episode 20, Misadventures in Time. Grandpa and Herman travel in a time machine and come back with two unexpected guests.
Oh, no!
They literally pluck themselves out from the past. We have...
What? Wait, what? They plucked themselves into the...
They plucked versions of themselves out of the past and into the present.
They need to hold an intervention with Grandpa. They should just hold an intervention with Grandpa saying, listen, Grandpa, you have to stop inventing things. Why do you keep doing this?
This is all I know. But, okay, playing the role of Kid Grandpa is Whit Hertford, who was actually in...
Wait a second! Kid Grandpa! How could he be called Grandpa when he's a kid?
I don't know. Go figure. But yeah, back then he dabbled in the voice roles, but nowadays he was in an episode of Psych.
Oh, Psych.
Yeah, with Dule Hill and James Roday Rodriguez.
And Maggie Lawson. Don't forget about her.
I'm not going to forget about her.
No.
And playing the role of Kid Herman, Daniel Wilson.
Daniel Wilson.
Yeah, his last role was in Buffy the Vampire Slayer as Shadow Man number 3. But he was the journalism teacher in Almost Famous.
Oh, the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Episode 21. Will the real Herman Munster please stand up? Herman asks Dr. Frankenstein for help in curing a nasty cold. Episode 22. Deadlock. Grandpa and Herman serve on a murder jury.
Oh, God!
Yeah, that's what you want to see. Herman Munster, a guy whose morality is, well, he's moral to a fault. And Grandpa, who is, well, not.
For all we know, Grandpa could just magically transport the jury to another place with one of his crappy inventions.
For all we know, Grandpa probably could kill the jury.
For all we know, how do we know Grandpa's not the murderer?
Episode 23. Take this job and shovel it. Herman and his fellow gravediggers go on strike.
Oh, God.
So I think we've established that he got his gravedigging job back.
I just picture this being like the episode of Seinfeld where Kramer went on strike at the...
No grave.
Where Kramer...
Like, no bagel.
Yeah, where Kramer went on strike at the bagel place for like 13 years.
All right, everybody, I'm back!
Who are you?
Cosmo Kramer? Strike's over.
Oh, yeah, Kramer.
What, didn't any of the other guys come back?
No, I'm sure they all got other jobs like 10 years ago.
Man, it kind of makes you wonder what it was all for.
I could use someone for the holidays.
All right, toss me an apron. Let's bagel.
What are those? Those are raisin bagels.
Never thought I'd live to see that.
No bagel, no bagel, no bagel. Episode 24. This is the season finale. That's gratitude. Herman regrets being kind to a grieving widow who winds up taking advantage of the Munsters.
Uh-oh.
Playing the role of the widow Johansson would be Herta Ware, who's been in a lot of things here. She played several old lady roles on Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction, and Soap Dish, and Critters 2, the main course. And apparently, okay, because it always comes back to this, she played Yvette Picard in a 1987 episode of TNG.
I'm guessing his sister.
I hope it's not his mother, because that would just be weird. Now we go to episodes in season 3, which begin with The Silver Bullet. Eddie's childhood rival returns. Play the role of Matt Glover. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Jonathan Brandis.
Oh!
Yep.
Which gives me another excuse to talk about how great Jonathan Brandis was in Ladybugs.
Aren't you going to talk about how great Jonathan Brandis was in Ladybugs?
Oh, yeah. Ladybugs was incredible. Rodney Dangerfield had to pretend he was a girl to play soccer. That's the most ridiculous thing ever, but it's so hilarious. Oh, and Sequest. We can't forget about Sequest.
No. And Neverending Story 2.
Neverending Story 2. Oh, yeah. That was great, too. But Sequest, it was all about that dolphin. The dolphin was the Tony Shalhoub of Sequest.
Episode 2. The Real Munsters. The clan sues the director of a home video show. Playing the director, Mr. Sweetser, Eddie Mecca.
Eddie Mecca! The big ragu!
The big ragu!
The big ragu! Ayy!
I'm getting sued by the Munsters! Ayy!
Ayy! I'm getting sued by the Munsters!
Ayy! I'm gonna have to pay him through the ass! Ayy! Episode.
Oh wait, did we mention Eddie Mecca was in the $1 Million Baby parody episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
No, you have to mention that Eddie Mecca was in the $1 Million Baby parody episode of
It's
Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh, what's the matter, Frankie Fathead? You were afraid she's gonna get knocked out just like you did? Oh, get this lie off of me here!
No! You stop it! This is my fight. Do you understand me? I'm sick of men getting in my way. This is my fight. You hear me? You hear what I'm saying?
Maybe we should leave these two alone, huh? Okay, we'll see you next Friday, huh? Beauty versus the Beast 2! Come on, Brianna. Go.
Oh, man, I was in It's Always Sunny. Hey! Episode 3, Wishing You Were Here. For his birthday, Grandpa gives Eddie a magic shamrock, so the boy regrettably wishes for the love of a supermodel.
Oh, no! Eddie! No!
Wait till I tell you who the model was played by.
Who was the model played by?
Terry Ivins.
Oh! Debbie from previous entry, Second Chance 1987 / Boys Will Be Boys.
Yep. And also Debbie, a different Debbie, from Wake, Rattle, and Roll.
Yeah, that's right. Wake, Rattle, and Roll.
2 Debbies, 2 shows.
2 shows.
But yeah, Terry Ivins is a very lovely lady.
Oh, yes.
Episode 4. 3 Munsters and a baby. Babysitting duties interrupted TV football game. Yeah. I wonder. Hey, Greg. What's the title a reference to? Because I honestly wonder.
I wonder too.
I've got no idea.
No idea.
No idea whatsoever.
The title is just dancing on top of my head. Get it?
Mm-hmm. Episode 5. It's my party and I'll die if I want to. The family assembles Grandpa's pals for his birthday. Grandpa's mom is played by Ruth Buzzy.
Ruth Buzzy.
And Genghis Khan is played... Oh my god!
Hold on. Is it the Genghis Khan from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure?
I don't know, but I know it's a bull. Playing the role of Genghis Khan is Richard Mould.
Oh, that's great. Oh, Mike, I wish you were here to hear this.
Yeah. It's like, you didn't think we could cover all 73 episodes? Look at us covering all 73 episodes. Oh, and Sandy Barron was in this episode, too. Of course, he is Jack Kloppus on Seinfeld. And fun fact, he would go on to play Grandpa Munster in The Munsters' Scary Little Christmas.
Oh, the Fox TV movie?
No, that would be, I think this is a sequel to the Fox TV movie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, yeah. One of the Fox TV movies.
Yeah, because there were 2 Fox TV movies.
Yeah, there was one with, God, I'm trying to think who...
I know there was one with Veronica Hamill as Lily Munster.
And there was one with, I think Christine Taylor was, Marilyn.
Christine Taylor was Marilyn. Okay. Edward Herman was Herman Munster.
Edward Herman as Herman Munster. That is perfect.
And then Veronica Hamill was Lily Munster. Robert Morse was Grandpa. And Christine Taylor was Marilyn. And whoever Matthew Patuchis is, he was Eddie Munster. But then you have the Munsters' Scary Little Christmas with Sam McMurray as Herman, Ann Magnuson as Lily, Bug Hall as Eddie. You know, Bug Hall, one of the Little Rascals in the
Alfalfa from the Little Rascals movie. Yeah, of course.
Sandy Barron as Grandpa, and Elaine freaking Hendricks as Marilyn.
Oh, wow. But Edward Herman is Herman in that one Munsters TV movie. That's just his last name's Herman, and he's playing Herman Munster.
I know. Episode 6. Making Waves. A surfing angel visits Grandpa. Playing the surfing angel, Cousin Oliver himself, Robbie Wrist.
Yeah, and at this time he was the voice of Michelangelo, I believe, in the 1990 TMNT movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he would have also be Rock and Roll Guy.
Rock and Roll Guy.
Robbie Wrist is also a musician.
That is true. Oh, remember when he was in Sharknado?
Yes, I do.
That was the best. He got killed in Sharknado by the Hollywood sign.
Episode 7. Just Another Pretty Face. Grandpa accidentally recycles Herman.
Oh, God.
Episode 8. Kiss, Kiss. Grandpa creates a perfect boyfriend for Marilyn.
Oh, no. No. Jack, what do you have to say? No.
Episode 9. Mind Reader. Eddie drinks a potion enabling mind reading. Because that's what you give to a teenager. A mind reading potion.
I guarantee you Grandpa invented this. And now he's just... Why?
Okay, playing the role of Rob, which is presumably one of Eddie's classmates, Dustin Diamond. Screech himself.
Yeah, we don't need to. Yeah, come on. You all know who that is.
We miss you, man.
Miss you, man.
Episode 10. No more Mr. Nice Guy. Herman vows to become more assertive. Yeah, let me know how that turns out. We actually have a person in this episode. Roy Stewart, played in more than 100 commercials in the 70s, best known as Corporal Chuck Boyle in Gomer Pyle, and was actually, are you ready for this?
Okay.
He was a security officer in the Hostages episode of Holmes and Yo-Yo.
Oh, wow. Never call back to the last episode we did in Schuckapalooza week. It's amazing.
We literally just talked about him.
Yeah, we did.
Episode 11. A House Divided. The family sells the house, then when Herman Munster's promotion falls through, have to get it back. That's where, because we do this on Zoom, that's where this background comes from.
Oh, okay. The background Chico has.
Yeah, we have a return from Sandy Barron. We also have Dick Gautier in this episode as Manny Glickstein.
Oh. Must be the person that sold the house.
And then we have Kathleen Freeman. She is the voice, and I really do wish Mike was here. Peg's mom on Married with Children.
That's right. Yeah. But she was all a bunch of stuff. She was in Naked Gun 33 and a third. And ironically enough, since we talked about Fred Ward earlier, she played the mother of Fred Ward's character in Naked Gun 33 and a third.
Yep. Episode 12. A Matter of Trust. Herman and Lily give Eddie a credit card.
Why? Why would you give Eddie a credit card? He's just a kid.
Yeah. File this one under. It seems like a good idea at the time. It's not a good idea.
No.
Like, at all. And the thing of it is, it's like Herman's worst fear is realized at this point. Like, why are you doing this? Episode 13. Large. Grandpa's experiments. Oh, God. I know where this is going.
Oh, no.
Grandpa's experiments ages Herman's boss's son. So this would basically be a parody of Big. Now you get it. The boss, Mrs. Graves, is played by Catherine Cates. Her son is played by... Are you ready for this?
Yes.
Michael Oliver.
And you would best know Michael Oliver as Junior from Problem Child.
Yep. That is correct. And Muzi Dreyer plays the older version of Young Andy.
Yeah.
Episode 14. Genie from Hell.
Oh my God. This is great.
Marilyn frees a genie with one wish left.
Okay. Who's playing the genie?
The man you hire when you have the budget for him. Billy Barty.
That's right. It was a thing on TV. Hall of Famer Billy Barty.
Yep.
Unfortunately, there wasn't another dwarf and a magician with him.
So there was no presidential double then?
No.
Sorry. Episode 15. Lots of luck. A lucky coin benefits Eddie, but harms others. We actually have a bit of a name on this episode. Playing the role of Stephanie is Julie McCullough.
Oh, yes. Julie McCullough.
Yep, one of Robin's Hoods and Robin's Hoods, but also Julie Costello on Growing Pains.
Yeah, And, well, I'm sure you all know the story about what happened with her on Growing Pains, so...
I don't need to explain this to you. Google it.
No, Google it.
Episode 16. If I Only Knew How. Herman thinks Eddie can hit records. Welcome to the 90s, folks. Episode 17. Beating of Your Heart. Aptitude tests are bleak for Eddie and Marilyn. I'm guessing they're not as smart as they think they are.
I don't know, maybe.
Maybe. Episode 18. Parenthood versus Childhood. The Munster parents and children switch roles. Oh, great. It's that kind of episode. Episode 19. Das Trunk. An Aunt bequeaths an antique jewelry trunk. Aunt Lucretia is played by Camilla Ashland. She plays Ruby Angles in V and V the Final Battle.
Oh.
Episode 20. A Camping We Will Go. Marilyn encourages the family to go camping. And of course, we have a return of Mother Earth in the guise of Kay Ballard. So there's something. Episode 21. Breaking the Chain. Herman discards Lily's chain letters. Oh, God. You know who's in this episode as one of the Munsters' neighbors?
Who?
Pat Morita.
Oh.
Hi, Mr. Watanabe.
Mr. Munster. You know that black hearse you used to own?
Used to own?
Here.
What is it?
Your hearse. Well, not all, just a part.
How?
Oh, you see, it seems that the steamroller ran over it. You know, boom, 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 boom. Flat like pancake. Oh, and the orange stuff, that used to be Garfield.
Well, cheer up, Hyman. It's not all bad luck. At least you didn't get a ticket.
Oh, thank you. Reminded me. Almost, I forgot. Also, it seemed you was parked on wrong side of street in front of fire hydrant on street cleaning day.
I thought Phantom of the Opera was the most expensive ticket in town. Look what they did to my beautiful hearse. I don't believe my bad luck. That's not it at all. Any car can have 3 flat tires and 3 blocks and then have the engine fall out and be rolled over by a steamroller and then get a ticket for more than Blue Book value.
Thank you for your concern.
Oh, no problem. I enjoy other people's misery.
Episode 22. Diary of a Mad Munster Wife. Lily becomes depressed about life as a housewife. And, oh gosh, we have a big name in this episode. Playing Dr. Susan Evans.
Oh, yes.
The late, the great Marsha Wallace.
Yeah.
Of course, by then, she would be known less for her many roles on sitcoms in the 70s and 80s, and more for playing Mrs. Krabappel on The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Episode 23, the penultimate episode of the series, The Bet. On a bet, Grandpa tests Herman's honesty. Playing the role of Boris is Mel Johnson Jr., who is known as Benny, the cab driver in Total Recall. You remember Total Recall, right?
Yes.
And he was also a Jehu Grant on Liberty, the American Revolution, which was a miniseries back in 1997. But was also Brokaw in a 1999 episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Because it all comes back to Star Trek. And I want to say Mark Neely was also a name on this episode. He played a policeman And he was actually in the short-lived Centennial on NBC. And finally, episode 24, Family Night. The family goes for counseling. Some could argue that they should have done that a long time ago.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's it.
That's it. That's the series.
That's the series.
Like, and the thing of it is, bit of a legacy on this series, because if you remember, the original Munsters went on for 70 episodes, 35 episodes for each season. This one went on for 74 episodes. So 4 episodes more than the original.
Okay.
Yep. And the Munsters today actually was, at one time or another, available for view on NBC.com because, again, Universal Television. Not so anymore. I'm wondering if they moved it to Peacock. I don't know.
No, it's not on Peacock.
It is not on Peacock.
No.
Oh. Well, apparently it was released on DVD, which was, and now I'm quoting, extremely rare. And there is a copy on the secondary market if you have the patience to look for it. So yeah, I mean, copies exist out there. The DVD's out there. I'm wondering if you can watch it for free on YouTube. You probably can. Just saying. So yeah, I mean, the shows are out there if you want to find them. Hey, Greg, you want to end this with a little bit of poetry?
Oh, is it time for It Was a Thing on TV Haiku Corner?
It is time for It Was a Thing Haiku Corner.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Music, yeah. Great. All right. So, Chico, you have 17 syllables. What do you got for us this week?
22 years ago, sleeping sitcom Munsters wake. John Schuck's brother.
No, I'm clapping.
I know you're clapping.
Because I know, but I don't do snaps. I clap.
All right. Because you're not bougie like me. And we can't really ask what happens to this show because, well, it's syndication. I mean, you air it when you air it. If it gets the numbers, then it gets the numbers. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. And you can tell by the time season 3 rolls around, we're just like, you know what? Let's just try anything. But yeah, it seems like, especially with that the Munsters go to therapy episode, it seems like the show came to an organic conclusion. And then Fox had to go and revisit the premise. But that's another story for another day. But right now, the Munsters today, it was inspired lunacy, it was. It had the talent in front of the camera, and it had the big budget backing of Universal Television. But after 3 seasons and 74 episodes, it just became a thing on TV.
Well, that's going to do it for this episode of It Was a Thing on TV. But, as I mentioned, Schuckapalooza will continue on. In our next episode, me and Mike, we're going to talk about a show so bad that's got to be, without a doubt, one of the worst shows we've ever covered on this podcast.
Let's just say, be careful what you wish for.
Yeah. But until then, you could go to itwasathingontv.com where you can listen to all the episodes, all the live shows, all of our past live shows, mini-sodes. And, of course, don't forget that we are on all the socials. We have a Linktree page.
Yep, it's at linktr.ee slash
It Was a Thing on TV.
Makes following us on all social media so much easier. But yes, and if you're on our YouTube, don't forget to like our videos, subscribe to our feed, and hit that notification bell. So you can stay up to date on all of our future entries. But until our next one, until the grand conclusion of Schuckapalooza week here on It Was a Thing on TV. That's Greg. I'm Chico. For Mike, thanks for listening. Please be kind to each other, and we will see you for the next one.
Wow!